Welcome into the Backroads Bill Podcast. I'm Ben, and today we are chatting with a young man, Cameron Welch, who co-owns the Shooting Star Camp, which is up on the Spanish River. And in order to get there, you got to take one of our favorite modes of transportation, which is the Bud car. They pick you up right there when you come off. It's really neat. That's actually how Bill met and connected with Cameron, was on his recent trip to the Bud car. We also have another future episode that's coming out very soon that also has a connection to that same trip on the Bud car. But Cameron, he decided to basically purchase this camp after he went there as a helper and fell in love with the area, fell in love with the camp itself. And him and his co-owner have built it up and continue to build it up. And it's a really neat story about kind of where they came from and where they're going in the future and all the work that they're doing. Another young entrepreneur that we've had on this program, and he's a great guy to talk to. So let's get into it. But first, a word from today's lead sponsor, Source for Sports. It's almost that time of year. Early mornings at the rink, fresh notebooks and backpacks, and a community gearing up for another great season of varsity sports. At Source for Sports North Bay, we're proud to be part of it all. Whether it's finding your kid's first pair of skates, gearing up for tryouts, or outfitting your team for the season ahead, we've got you covered. Because here, we're not just a sports store, we're neighbors, coaches, teammates, and fans. And we're proud to cheer you on every shift, step, and stride of the way. Visit Source for Sports North Bay at 1321 Fisher Street and let us help you along your way. Bill, we've had a couple of young entrepreneur type people on recently. We just had Malin from up in Hearst area, and today we have we have a gentleman here who's in that same kind of, I was going to say boat, but he's not really in a boat. Today we're pleased to have on Cameron Welch, who is the co-owner of the Shooting Star Camp. Cameron, welcome into the Backroads Bill Podcast.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Well, Ben, Cameron, I've got to tell a little bit of the story. It was last March of 2025 when we were on the Bud car going from Sudbury to White River and returning. And lo and behold, on the train, we see, this is in March, here's the Bud car has a boxcar kind of thing on, and the Bud car is a passenger service, and anyway, he's got the windows and lumber, and they're getting off in the middle of nowhere. But we, as Backroads Bill, of course, very interested and started talking to Cameron and found out about Shooting Star Camp, shootingstarcamp.com for everyone. We'll mention that a couple times for sure. And anyway, they get off north of Cartier, which is north of the city of Greater Sudbury, and in the middle of nowhere. But anyway, we engage him, and by the end of the trip, we had booked in our most recent visit to Shooting Star Camp. And Shooting Star Camp has remote cabins on the Spanish River just for some spatial orientation. And the other aspect, and we're going to get into this, is that here's a 23-year-old that's co-owner with his family of this camp that goes back more than 100 years, and he's living his dream job. And that's kind of the theme of this Backroads Bill podcast. And so, Cameron, I think that's it in a nutshell. But tell us a little bit how you got started at age 16 at Shooting Star Camp.
My dad's been going to the camp for about 12 to 15 years, just as a guest. And the owner wanted help, so I needed a summer job, so I went up there for a summer, and I instantly fell in love with the place. And I asked myself, what do I have to do to keep doing this for the rest of my life?
Yeah, and that's a question. And of course, fast forward a little bit, age 16, the family, the camp came for sale, and they purchased it. And also, Cameron's a machinist by trade too. So it's but he's doing his dream job. But tell us about how the camp started with Mike Bates. I just want to go back because it is more than 100 years old, and I haven't quite proven it yet for my print story. But it's probably one of the oldest camps in Northern Ontario.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. So Mike Bates, he was a writer, and he had a Broadway song on Broadway. He was a one-hit wonder, and then he came to work on the train line, and seeing that there's so much land there untouched, unbothered by anything or anyone. So he put up a few cabins and he hired people to build them. And they paid him $20 a cabin, 25 if they peeled the logs. And those are the same cabins you guys see today.
Yeah. So the other day, we were there, I guess a week or so ago, whatever the timeline's in with regards to the podcast when it comes out, is that, here you are staying within cabins that are more than 100 years old, these logs that Cameron has talked about. And so, again, the Spanish River starts from Bisco Tasting Lake, home of gray owl, and flows down, ends up in the Great Lakes, in Lake Huron, and it's a wilderness river. And the good thing about the Bud Car, you access the Spanish River all the way up. Now, back in the day, when the camp first started, it was hunting and fishing, still is today. And the lure of this is that you take the train, get off the train. I took my canoe, others took their kayaks, and we paddled into where we're going. But Cameron, tell us a little bit about the setting of your cabins. And I know there's 6 of them, but just to kind of explain to the listeners and viewers about Shooting Star Camp.
So as soon as you book with us, you book your train ticket and you will get off either in Metagama or Sinker. So if you get off in Metagama, you'll get your stuff off the train, you'll load it into a side-by-side. We'll take about a kilometer trail into the bush, put your gear into a boat, take everything over to the cabin, and then I'll show you around some fishing spots and show you the river. And then if you get off in Sinker, you'll put your stuff off of the train right into boats, and we'll go down this nice Sinker Creek, and you'll be right at the cabins, right on the Spanish River.
Yeah, and the lure for me was the others on the train. Brian Emil, who's been on the Backroads Bill podcast. The lure there is to, I'm not 23 anymore, and I still have all these outdoor pursuits. Is that you could canoe to some of the remote cabins, so you could actually go from hut to hut skiing. You could go from cabin to cabin canoeing if you choose, and utilize the train or keep going down the Spanish River. So that's another aspect, because most of the business, Cameron, for now, and what you inherited is fishing primarily, and you're getting slowly into hunting. But tell us about the fishing and the hunting business. And again, this is a Northern Ontario well-established lodge, like many others, and people come from near and afar to do these kinds of things.
Yeah, the fishing is unbelievable. I know you guys didn't have any luck there, Bill.
We're not fishers. We're not anglers.
I was going to say, I don't think Backroads Bill is much of a fisherman.
I didn't. I know it's excellent fishing there.
We have walleye, pike, and we got some perch, and we got pretty large smallmouth bass. And we've had people coming for 25 plus years. Every year they've been coming back. So it's nice to see the families come back, and you get a good relationship with them, and you look forward to seeing them every year.
Now, 25 years, and again, your family's only owned it, and you're the general manager, the lead hand, so to speak. You do everything. Now, Ben, the other thing, you go to these cabins, so you're not catered to. You're self-sufficient. So it's like glamping in a sense, and there are boats on either sides of the portages. So if you're going upstream, you get in a boat, go downstream, and you go to the next portage, so on and so forth. Then there's a number of cabins. So the 25 years, that's older than you, or is at age 23. But tell us how you, and I've asked you this question, how what do you think about having your dream job? And tell us a little bit about those years between the age 16 to now, and how you just thought, okay, this is for me. That's what I'm really most intrigued with.
I consider myself mighty lucky just to be able to be in the woods, and I can't be out of the woods for that long anymore. I just love just walking around, not even carrying a gun or anything, just walking around and seeing different stuff, looking at different trees, finding new animals, and I truly find it a pleasure just being outside. So I consider myself pretty lucky.
Yeah, yeah. And so when we met Cameron on the train, here's the person in charge of everything at age 23, well versed in with outdoor skills and this, because he's up there for 6 months and he rarely leaves, and so your back and forth is usually on the train. Now, another interesting part of this story, Cameron, is I know there is bear hunting. You're going to try to expand that, and you're also going to try to expand this canoeing from cabin to cabin. But your family, this is something I learned, but just standing beside the tracks the other day, was he's a big game hunter. So they actually go to other countries, like I think South Africa. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, we went to South Africa last year, and it was me, my dad, my mom, and my sister all went. And we flew into Cape Town to get over our jet lag a little bit and had amazing seafood there. And then we flew out of Cape Town to Johannesburg, and it's unbelievable. It's what you picture when you think of South Africa. It's giraffes running everywhere, and so we were fortunate enough to come away with 6 animals. But in Africa, there's 63 different species you can hunt there. So I will definitely plan on my second trip to go back.
What were you hunting? Like, what were the?
We got an impala, a blesbuck, a red hartebeest, a wildebeest, a gemsbuck, and a zebra.
I'm kind of curious. Now that we're on the hunting, now I know we're going to the South Africa stuff. What are the hunting regulations and rules like there versus here? Because obviously they have the large, and I think they have quite a protected, a lot of like protected species there, right?
Yeah, they do. So the PHs, the professional hunters there, they manage it very, very well, just because they have to, because it's their business that runs all year round, right? Because we went in the their winter last year, so they hunt all year round, and there's different animals that come in and out of season, but they do a very good job managing everything.
Yeah, there's more animals there. I've been to Africa and been to Botswana and Kenya, and again, it's a sustainable managed thing. And I mean, it's another aspect of the great outdoors, big game hunting. We have it here. I know they're going to try to get moose tags for Shooting Star Camp, and Cameron himself is about to go up to the Manitouwadge area where he goes with his family, and they have tags this year to hunt moose. And tell us about who comes to your camp. Profile the kind of person that comes to the Shooting Star Camp.
I don't know if I can. I get a bunch of different people. I've had people that come from Atlanta, Georgia, strictly want to bass fish, to just families that want to get away and go kayaking and canoeing. So it's a very diverse and broad clientele, but everybody seems to want to come back, and everybody has a smile getting back on the train when they leave.
Well, it's a train for me. There's a lure about getting on and off that train in the middle of the wilderness, and there you are. You're on the side of the track. But the diversity, Ben, the other day, Cameron told me, tell us about the Mennonites.
Oh, they came in there from Ohio. You don't expect
them in the middle of the wilderness, but there they are.
They came in from Ohio, and they strictly wanted to bass and walleye fish. And if there's one person you ever have cook for you, have the Mennonites cook for you. My God, they have a feast every morning, and it's amazing. And they're really good fishermen. Like they're up from first of light to dark every day. So they fish pretty hard.
Yeah, not like Backroads Bill. Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the logistics of owning a business, because you obviously, as we've mentioned, like you're young. You start working there when you're 16, but now that you're a co-owner of a business, it's a bit different than just working there, I would imagine. What are some of the things that, going into your role now, that you said, I didn't think it was this hard, and some of the stuff that you've learned along the way?
You're constantly planning. It's because you have to have boats in stages all the time for people to get off the train or get on the train. Like usually it's a group going out on a Friday, and another group coming in on a Saturday. So I'm cleaning, refueling boats, mopping floors, changing bedding, and making sure everything's perfect. Because when you come into camp, I want it to make it look like nobody's been there for 100 years. Yeah, it's clean, but I want that kind of feel to the place.
And how many people are working there right now outside of yourself?
It's just me and another guy this year.
Wow.
So it gets a lot, but
That was a wow moment, because they have to, and these cabins are spread out.
And
right?
how many cabins are there?
6.
Oh, wow.
For now, and again, it's a remote kind of situation, and so again, for me, it was I spent a lot of time on the water, going back and forth to these cabins and knowing where they are, and then of course exploring the Sinker Creek and other places, and then the Spanish River actually comes. It goes into 2 sections, so there's a lot of paddling you can do there. I mean, people get off the train at various spots and paddle the Spanish River to various other spots. Whether they get back on the train or go or take out at the Elbow and other places, that's up to them. And that's another thing I learned. I contacted actually the map makers of Adventure Maps, and I'm going to get some information because it's a utilized river when compared to other Ontario parks, because it is a designated river. So that's a whole other aspect of the business. But running the camp is another thing. And I was impressed. Again, these are older cabins, but they've been well kept up and modernized. And here's the other thing, Ben, complete with solar power. And Starlink, if you wish. So, if you need that safety component or communication component, it runs off. You can have a hot shower, and it runs off the batteries. So it's kind of neat that when you make that transition from where you come from to there, you have the comforts of home. And of course, it's a different kind of outdoors person, I'd say, Cameron, that wants that kind of experience.
yeah, it's definitely setting up that kind of stuff took a little bit of jimmy rigging engineering, I would say, but we got it working, and we have a hot shower at every single cabin now. And the big thing was running water in the cabins this year. Because every time a guest leaves, I ask them, what can I do to improve on your stay or the cabins? And they give me some feedback, and I'll throw them in. And so it was running water was huge this year for our guests that came in, and they loved it. So next year, people like cooking on charcoal, but I think I'm going to put a propane barbecue at every camp just to if you're coming back for lunch and you want to throw a couple hot dogs on a barbecue quick and get back out fishing, it's easy. And you don't have to light the charcoal and everything, right?
Dear North Bay, you've always been more than a place on the map. You're home to me. This is where I built a life with my husband, raised our kids, and taught in local schools for over 24 years. I'm proud to be part of this community. Earlier this year, my world shifted. After living with anxiety, depression, and PTSD for much of my life, I reached a point where I couldn't keep going alone. Walking into the emergency department at the North Bay Regional Health Center was one of the hardest things I've ever done. But what I found there changed everything. A nurse who made me feel safe, a crisis worker who truly listened. For the first time in a long time, I felt seen. That care gave me hope, and it inspired me to give back by supporting local healthcare so that others in our community can access the same compassionate care I did. If my story resonates with you, I hope you'll consider supporting the NBRHC Foundation. Please visit nbrhcfoundation.ca or call 705-495-8125 to give. Because mental health is health. With gratitude, Tiffany Van Meer.
North Bay's turning 100, and what a time to be here. From the buzz of the Heritage Parade to sunset concerts at the waterfront, the city is alive with celebration. And you know who's right in the middle of it all? Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. We're proud to be a part of this milestone moment. Whether you're coming home from a family reunion, planning a gathering with friends, or just simply making the most of everything the Centennial has to offer, our doors are open. Stay in a spacious suite that feels like home, with a full kitchen to cook in, room to relax, and a space to unwind after a full day of fun. Are you hosting something bigger? Our event spaces and amazing local partners like the Grand and Stock Transportation make it easy to bring people together. Best of all, they're just steps from the action. The fireworks, the food trucks, the music, the laughter, it's all right here. Celebrate 100 years of North Bay with us. Use code Centennial to save on your stay anytime this year. Be at home with Homewood Suites by Hilton North Bay. Join the party today at 495 Oak Street West or give us a call at 705-495-3000.
The other thing I liked about the Spanish River, you don't see other camps or cottages or other people. You might see canoeists go through, but that's it. So you're kind of there, and then you hear the train, but that's about it. So it's got that very remote feeling to it that you're on your own.
Yeah, and what does the future look like? Like, what would be your grand vision in terms of if you had unlimited resources, what would you do at the camp?
If I had unlimited resources, I would expand. I'd get a few more cabins. I would open up moose hunting, and I would like to get into a duck hunting season, because I know there's a very big group of people out there that want to duck hunt, and we get great northern birds. So I would like to add that into the future as well.
And how does the hunting part work, like from a business standpoint? What's that process look like? Do you have to go to, I'm assuming, the government, and you have to like apply? Is there certain regulations you have to worry about in terms of land and all that stuff?
There is, and so since it's Crown land, so if we have Americans come in, it's a BMA, so Bear Management Unit, and we are the I don't want to say owners. We're the people that look after the bear management. We have it. So the people, non-restricted hunters, have to come through us. But if you're a Canadian hunter, you can just get your normal tag and come in and hunt. And I'll have, if you want to do a baited hunt or a spot and stock, I will have that all set up for you.
Yeah, there was a guy there from the Great Canadian Race with his family, right, Cameron?
Yeah. His name is drawing a blank right now.
That doesn't matter, but he was there. It speaks to the diversity of the clientele, though.
Yeah. It's crazy how many different people come every year. And this year we expanded our season this year. Past years we were only 2 or 3 months. This year we were full 6 months. So we were from May to September. We're still going. We have a couple groups coming in next week, and I have everything set up for them. So it's the people that come. It's just to sit down, have a beer or a coffee with them, and just hear their side of the stories. And they have a lot of stories. I've heard a lot. So
now, at 23 years of age, I've spoken to a lot of people, but he's very engaging, and that will only increase over time when you add more stories. Now, what were you doing on that train in March with all that lumber? Tell us what you were doing then.
So on the train in March, I had a patio door, a bunch of lumber, and I think a bunch of roofing steel, if I'm not mistaken. All the lakes were frozen, so I was putting them on the snowmobile and taking it out to the cabin I'm rebuilding, because there's a cabin right on the river that sunk 3 feet in the mud, but the logs were still sound, but the bottom ones were rotten. So I jacked it up about 4 feet, took the bottom legs off, poured more cement, built a new wall, put a new floor in the old cabin, and put a 16-foot addition on the front.
Yeah, so, and the Rona store is not around the corner.
No, and it's on the other side of the bud car.
Yeah, and you're doing all this stuff with with Buddy or someone else, but and that's kind of interesting. But I'm just kind of always intrigued with the entrepreneurial spirit with regards to doing all this and having to again, it's not again like the going down the hallway of the Best Western and the people and I run a place, so I understand that the cabins have to be cleaned. It's everything is different when you're in a wilderness situation. And but you seem so calm and relaxed about it. Like it's not that I wanted to trick you up or anything, but he just seems to know what to do. But I think it's that you said it earlier. It's all about planning.
Yeah, that's one thing my dad taught me at a very young age is you can't control the future. You just got to roll with it. If something catastrophic happens, you roll with it and move on. You learn from it and just keep going.
And you got to be a Mr. Fix-It type of person too, which I'm not. So I always appreciate that kind of that skill set. Are you Mr. Fix-It, Ben? I don't think I've ever asked you that.
No, I'm not a Mr. Fix-It.
Okay.
I'm Mr. Break-It. So talking a little bit about the off season, I guess, right? Because if you're only open 6 months a year, you talked a little bit about how you're rebuilding this cabin and stuff. But what does the off season look like for you? And what are some of the challenges of having to run a camp that's only seasonal, where you're only getting essentially income for half the year?
So I would like to open up for ice fishing as well, because we do have some cabins that are on lakes. You can't ice fish the river just because it's too unsafe. But for the off season, for me, it's just getting ready for next year. It's planning ahead. So this year I brought back one of my mud motors. It blew up this year, so I'm going to fully rebuild that this winter. And then I built a boat last year just out of flat stock steel. So I'll build a couple more boats this year. And then it's just preparing for next season, get as much stuff as like fixing rewinds on motors. They're constantly breaking. So I have a few extras just so if guests break one, I can just throw a new rewind on and take the other one back and fix it. So I brought a couple of them back. And since I'm a machinist, I can machine new hubs for props or anything like that.
Yeah, no, this boat is a work of art. Like it's a flat bottom. So he has got what do you call that engine with the back?
I call that a mud motor.
A mud motor. So like you see in the Far East and where the props just in the water, and so you can drive this up rapids. So you can move gear and stuff like that if you need to. But it's great. It's wider than this table here, and as long as this room kind of thing, and you could put an ATV in it, I think, eh?
Oh, we have, yeah.
Yeah. So, but just just go make the boat.
Yeah.
You had trouble making coffee this morning.
I did not have trouble. It was a time thing. Stop making me look bad. Cameron, do you in the off season do you do anything income wise? Like, do you do another job, or is this your 100% focus? Yeah.
This is my 100% focus, but I do have another job. My brother has a machine shop here, so I help him out in the machine shop.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, if it was the only way you're getting income, that has to affect your financial situation in a little bit, where maybe you have to charge a little bit more, or you have to compensate for that while you're open. When it comes to charging or some of your pricing and stuff, do you have any sort of philosophy with that in terms of affordability, especially in today's world, in today's economy, in terms of affordability versus profit?
We are right in that, I'd say, the sweet spot where it's affordable and it's not going to break the bank. It's about $100 a day, and that includes your cabin stay, propane fridge, propane stove, boat motor, with fuel, all your propane for your fridges. So it's affordable in today's day and age.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that from the standpoint. Again, I was there for a different motivation, and probably compared to everyone else, far different motivations. And as looking at the aspects of going back and forth from remote cabins, being on the river, et cetera, and doing the things that Backroads Bill likes to do. So. And then of course I used the term earlier, you're kind of glamping, but you've got that roof over your head. You've got all these amenities if you want. You're self-contained. You're making your own meals, coming and going as you want. You're safe. If you want to use the boats, they're there. And so I think pricing wise, it's and for me again, it's the context of the Spanish River and the wilderness situation that Shooting Star Camp is located in.
And what does I'm assuming people, it's like either a weekend or a week, but what's the average person's experience? We talked about getting off the bud car, getting to your cabin, but during their stay, are you just kind of kicking around in case they need help, or what does that look like?
So I'll get you off the train and I'll show you a few fishing spots, and then I'll have the new satellite texting on the new iPhones. It's really helped out. So I give everybody my phone number. If they need anything, they can shoot me a text. Because the closest cabin to me is a half hour away by boat. So it's not just I'm right there. So if it's usually a 5 to 7 day trip. So I'll check on them about halfway through the trip, see if they're catching fish. If they're not, then I'll take my rod up and I'll help them out a little bit. And then, I kind of lost my train of thought there.
Well, it's also, like, again, as you say, it's a fly-in fishing camp without the flying in. It's on the train. Tell us a little bit about that lure of the train. I mean, for you, it's commonplace now, but for others?
It's for others. They're, as soon as they get off and I say, "How's your ride in?" They're just in awe, because the train tracks go right all the way down the Spanish River, right? You've seen the falls and everything, Bill, and it's just beautiful scenery all the way up. Especially this time of year, the colors are starting to change. It's truly beautiful, and you get off and you're just in the middle of nowhere and right on the river. It's like a picture that you've seen on somebody's phone, but you've never experienced for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. And any other questions, Ben?
Yeah, so I'm not really much of a fisher, but one of the things that I think of when I hear about this kind of camp, and you were just talking about the colors and everything like that, was why you don't go a little bit further into the fall. Is it because of fishing season, or because you could almost run right until like close to this? I know snow gets kind of weird, but you could kind of run even like into October and stuff.
Oh, definitely we could. We have wood stoves in all the cabins, so that's all equipped. This year we just opened up for 6 months out of the year, so we're still trying to get that clientele to come back. So I'll be doing a few shows this year, outdoor shows in Toronto and Flint and stuff like that, to try to reach out and get that clientele.
Yeah.
Now, we've had lots of Sasquatch investigators on the Backroads Bill podcast, and people that have gone and told they're actually a police chief who kind of came out of the closet, Ben, and told us a Sasquatch story. He was police chief up in Sioux Lookout in a previous podcast. So we see your Sasquatch T-shirt. So the last question on today is, do you believe?
I do believe. I believe he's out there.
There you go. Yeah. Have you seen him yet?
No. People say it's me sometimes.
What a great summary comment. And for viewers and listeners, go to shootingstarcamp.com. And thanks so much, Cameron, for being on the Backroads Bill podcast.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure.
A big thank you to Cameron for coming on the podcast. What he has done with the camp, as I said at the beginning, what he's planning on the future of the camp, and how he wants to continually build it, add new stuff. You know, they added the running water, they added some of these really, I think, things that we take for granted in when you're not out in the bush. And having some of those pleasantries, having some of those amenities, obviously have helped quite a bit. If you do want to check out the Shooting Star Camp, if you want to book anything or just want to know more about them, I put the link to their website in the description, so you can go click that and find out more information. So if you enjoyed today's episode, you can check out this episode and more by going on to northbayecho.ca. New episodes of the Backroads Bill podcast drop every single Wednesday. We are on your favorite podcast platforms and on the North Bay Echo YouTube channel. And while you're at northbayecho.ca, you can check out all the other great podcasts that we have on the network, and check out our newsletter, Echo Essentials. It comes to your inbox every single week, and it's a great curated way to find out what's going on in the network and what's going on in the North Bay area. So that wraps things up for us. Join us again next week for another Backroads adventure.